When I'm picking products for that, my process right now, and this is always evolving,
Mhm.
is I use brand analytics. I start with brand analytics, and so for product savants, I'm looking for existing things. I'm not, for that we don't actually come up with brand new ideas. We're not going to reinvent some new thing that's got to be patented and you got to develop from scratch. That's not the goal of that company. I think that's where more and more where Amazon is going. Just as an aside, I think in the future, the next few years, the people that are able to not just go to Alibaba and find something and stick their label on it, or find something and maybe modify it or bundle it in a different way, you're going to have to create something from new
Mhm.
and have the IP. I think that's going to be the next big opportunity on Amazon. So someone who comes out with a course that says, here's, A to Z on how to create brand new products and launch them on Amazon from scratch, from an idea. But it can't just be, the thing with Amazon is creating something that's brand new. You got to make sure the keyword demand is still there. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of money educating people and getting it out there. So, but there's still plenty of opportunities where you can see that there's a key people are searching for. I don't know, uh, slow dog eating bowl or whatever, and there's a ton of products there. But versus going and just finding one that's already existing, or even finding one that maybe doesn't exist in design, but coming up with some sort of new thing. I don't know what it is, but it self cleans itself or something. Or, I don't know.
Oh,
And
I got it. There we go.
developing that from scratch and putting that out with some IP behind it, I think is going to be where the big money is going to be made in the future, and you're going to have a little moat around you. And in licensing too, I think there's a big opportunity still on licensing on Amazon that hasn't been exploited. If you had a slow feed dog bowl and you could go and get a license from the U.S. Army, and the dog bowl is in camouflage colors or something, and it says U.S. Army on the side of it. That creates some sort of little bit of a moat. So there's those kinds of things for product development. But back on the other one on brand analytics, so if I'm looking for something that already exists and it's a little bit easier, where people do want to do the traditional model, go to global sources or Alibaba, or find something, modify it a little bit and launch it. I take brand analytics. I download the last month's data. I like to do it in quarter, so if I can, but it just depends if it's too far out. Like if Amazon only lets you, so if it's the middle of March, usually the last quarter available is the fourth quarter of last year. So that's a 2.5 month gap of data. So I won't do that. I'll use the last month. I'll use February. But if I'm pulling the data January 5th or 10th or whatever, then I'll use the last quarter. So I'll download that data, which is what, 1 point something million, around a million plus. I think it actually shows like 1.6 million, but it lets you download like a million of them. I'll download that in an Excel file, and then I'll run through that Excel file, and I personally delete everything that's below 500,000 SFR. Now you don't have to do that. There's still plenty of opportunity down below 500,000. I'm just looking for things. I want things that sell $10,000 a month or more, and typically the demand for that is something below 500,000 SFR on the keywords. And so I'll delete that, and then I'll go in and I'll actually add a column that's a fourth column on the spreadsheet, and I'll take the conversion share. So the three columns, ASIN 1, ASIN 2, ASIN 3, the conversion shares, and I'll sum those up in that column. And my personal cutoff is 40%. So anything that's where the first three ASINs have more than 40% of the buy share, or the conversion share, that tells me that market, that only 60% is left for everybody else. And to me, I want more than 60% left. That tells me it's the top three guys basically have half the market. And in some
Right.
cases, the other half of the market is still big enough, and if you get a piece of that, you're still going to be happy. But I'm just saying this is how I eliminate it down to find the better opportunities. You could change these parameters however you want. And so then that eliminates those 500,000 down to, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, something like that. And then I go through, and anything that has a high click share, but a 0 or less than 1% conversion share, all those keywords get eliminated as well, because that tells me there's manipulation going on. Anything where you see those zeros in conversion share, there's some sort of funny business going on where people are doing add to carts, or there's something going on, because why would you have a 20% click share and 0% conversion share? I mean, it's not always funny business. There could be legitimate reasons for that, but those are ones I eliminate too. Then you're left with, I don't know, 50,000 keywords or something. And then I start going through them with my eyes and just scrolling down and looking for, obviously I've been doing this long enough, so I know to skip over garlic presses and obvious stuff that just looks competitive, or I already know it's competitive. And then I'll stumble across something that, I'll take out also seasonal stuff. So the word Christmas, I'll filter out Christmas or Easter or Halloween, all those seasonal things out, because I'm looking for year-round stuff. And then I'll go through and just look at them one by one and punch them into into Amazon, and run the helium 10 X-ray tool on it, and see what the market's doing, see how the competitors are, see how much depth there is in that keyword, see look at the reviews, and I have some criteria I look for there, and then if that passes muster, that keyword passes muster, then I'll take that keyword, then I'll go back to the full brand analytics with past 500,000 and see how many other related keywords are there around this. And then I'll see if I can find 2 or 3 other keywords that have similar metrics to this first one of, that the conversion share is 40% or less for the top 3. And if there is, then that's a good opportunity product. And then I'll take that and, for product savants, and I give that to Steve's team. They go and they source it, and they come back to us with all the sourcing and the tariffs and the duties and everything. And about probably a half or 2/3 of the products get eliminated at that point, because just the math doesn't work. And what's left are good product opportunities.
Lunch with the